Is there something about females that you wanted to know but could never figure out? Are you struggling with relationships? Do you feel like you're being taken advantage of by the women in your life? Do you want to know how to leverage the playing field to your favor? Well, did you know that the female mind and the female psyche are mysterious and unexplored regions like the dark web of the internet? For this reason, men need a method of decrypting or hacking the manipulative psyche or dark web of the female mind. Once a man has a deep understanding of true female nature, he will then be able to hack her programming.
Access granted.
The purpose of this book is to help grown males evolve into men so that they can treat the women in their lives accordingly.
You win.
I got my mother in the chat.
Oh,
thank you, Mom, for coming. I was telling her about you. I told her I got to give it because I had bought another book, so I'm gonna give it to my mom. Yeah, my mom in the chat.
Appreciate that.
And, Brandy, I'm definitely gonna email you today, sis. But this is what I like right here. Do you have your book on you?
Yes, I do.
Okay, about the childhood. I want you to break that down about the female learned behavior, how we was learned how to play with dolls and stuff. The way you broke that down in the book, I was like, that was awesome.
Well, thank you. Well,
that was awesome because we are nurturers, and that's what we start off with dolls. Because my mother used to buy us all kinds of dolls, clothes out dolls, the doll heads. But one thing about my mom, she always bought us the black dolls. I don't know where she used to get those black dolls in the 70s, but that was my mom. So she in the chat, she probably laughing. But you broke that down. So I want you to break that down a little bit about that. What made you put that in the book?
Well, one of the things I noticed just growing up in general is the fact that, especially once I got older in like college and stuff like that, I started to be able to notice or even pick out, when I talk to certain women, that I can differentiate between the ones that were raised with a father in the house and the ones that were raised without a father. Now, what I put in the book is the fact that as a child, children in general, boys and girls, we are all sponges when we're children, 4, 5, 6 years old. So what I put specifically as far as concerning the father in the picture, I said that as a child, that's where women first learn to manipulate the opposite sex. And what I meant by that is, like I just said, children.
Yes, go ahead.
Children are sponges. So, like I said, even babies, as a mother, as a babies know how to manipulate their parents, whether they know how to cry, throw a tantrum. This is not something they learned in school. This is an instinct. They just learn, okay, if I cry like this, mommy's gonna pick me up and do this to me, or so they learn instinctually. So when it comes to little girls and their fathers, they learn very quickly that once they start crying or once they're sad, they notice that their father gets sad too, or this or if they, for some fathers, when their daughter throws a tantrum, instead of correcting that bad behavior, they reward it with, okay, don't stomp on the ground. Okay, I'll get you some ice cream. So at a very young age, young girls start to realize, like, oh, if I show this emotion, or if I show emotion, I can get a reward for it. I can get something for it. And that mindset is cultivated even more once that child goes into school and gets into like middle school and high school, where she has the little boys now that's trying to get with her, talk to her, because around 12, 13 years old is when she starts to develop, her, like I said in the book, her secondary sexual characteristics by 12, 13 years old. So by that time, you got the little boys behind her, sniffing up behind her, and she realized, like, oh, when I started talking to Tommy offered to do my homework. I wonder why that is. And someone so offered to buy me lunch today, and I don't know. Then when she realizes that they're doing it because of, her new quote unquote body parts, I also said in the book, a little girl has a decision that she makes around the age of, 11, 12, 13, where she has to, where she decides consciously or unconsciously that once she realizes that she has these assets that the opposite sex wants, at that age, she then realizes consciously or subconsciously that she can either use these quote unquote assets to gain what she wants, moving forward from the opposite sex, or she can see her asset as value or valuable and say, you know what, I'm going to save these assets or this value for my husband or for the father of my children. So it's very deep and psychological how this thing works. Like, again, I want to emphasize when I talk about female nature, I don't speak about it in a way where it's negative, where, I'm downing women. And the one thing I need to emphasize the most when I'm talking about my book, Hacker True Female Nature, is the fact that it does not describe all women. That's the one thing that I get when people read my book, is the first thing it says, well, it's not all women. All women aren't like this. And I made it a point to write that in the book, that this book does not describe all women, but I leave it up to the reader to decide whether or not this book describes most women. And what I emphasize is the saying goes, hit dogs holler, meaning that the women who are described in this book, the things that are described in the way the women are described in this book, it only applies to the women that it applies to, if that makes sense. So if anyone reads this and says, oh, I can't believe he wrote that, I don't know anybody like that, you have to ask yourself, why are you being triggered by that? Because I've had women in my personal life, not related to me, read the book. I even have one woman who's married, who's a wife. Quick story how she got the book. I didn't even give it to her directly. I gave it to a friend of mine, and his friend's wife went to, the couple came to visit him, and his friend's wife happened to see the book on the coffee table, and I don't want to say she stole it, but she took it without his knowledge, and she decided to read it. And I was kind of happy about it. But long story short, when she finished reading it, I said, I want your honest opinion, because, I didn't expect you to read it, but I would definitely want your honest opinion, being that, you're a woman, you're married, so on and so forth. And the general consensus that I got from the women in my personal life that read the book is, listen to this. The first thing they said was, in general consensus was, while reading the book, I didn't like the way the book made me feel. I said, really? And then the second thing they said right after that is, but everything you wrote in the book is the truth. I said, wow, thank you. And that's what I get from a lot of my female friends, is that they say, it's just like with my Instagram posts, some of my YouTube videos, like they say their initial reaction is to, I can't believe you said that, I can't. But then they tell me, like, they have to calm themselves down and really look at what I stated and realize, like, you know what? He's actually telling the truth, because my tagline is point out the lie. Like, I'm really all about truth, but what I've also realized in my 40 years of living is that the truth is probably the hardest and most hurtful thing that you could tell somebody. So that's why when, the women in my life who read the book told me that they didn't feel good when they were reading the book, I get it, because some of the truths that are written in this book aren't, peachy and rosy. Understand? It's not necessarily always a good look, but like men, we're not perfect.
I'm telling you. Now I have to say something. When I started, I said, wait a minute. I just made me think about when I was going to school, and I was like, wow. Because how the boy used to try to give me this, and I'm like, no, buy me snacks. I'm like, wait a minute. And I said, order for him to really write this, because this is not no ghostwriter. You wrote this. I'll make this clear, guys. You got some people who write books for him. He wrote this his own self. I say, you really, really had to get in tune with yourself and really think, and really, this came from your heart.
Yeah.
And really, like,
it took me a year to write.
Oh,
it took me a whole year to write it.
I love it. And then when you broke how we are emotional beings, now break that down.
Emotional beings.
Wait a minute, because I ain't one though. This ain't gonna be just a one-on-one fly by. Now I done read this book twice.
Is there something about females that you wanted to know but could never figure out? Are you struggling with relationships? Do you feel like you're being taken advantage of by the women in your life? Do you want to know how to leverage the playing field to your favor? Well, did you know that the female mind and the female psyche are mysterious and unexplored regions like the dark web of the internet? For this reason, men need a method of decrypting or hacking the manipulative psyche or dark web of the female mind. Once a man has a deep understanding of true female nature, he will then be able to hack her programming.
Access granted.
The purpose of this book is to help grown males evolve into men so that they can treat the women in their lives accordingly.
You win.